It's no secret that Emmanuel Macron has stood by Ukraine since day one, but there's more to it than politics. What's really interesting is the bond between Macron and Volodymyr Zelenskyi. It's not just two leaders talking shop, it's a relationship built on trust, accountability, and yes, actual friendship. According to Alice Ruffo, who used to advise Macron and now works in France's defense ministry, these two share something rare in international politics. They skip the formalities. No waiting for diplomats to schedule meetings. If something needs to be said, they just pick up the phone.
Sorry, Emmanuel, I have just conversation with the journalist. Can I be back in some minutes, in 15-20 minutes? Так, я тільки що розмовляв з президентом Макроном, з Еммануелем. Ми з ним часто дуже спілкуємось, раз на день, я б так сказав.
Cute, right? Apparently, these two aren't just allies, they're in regular contact and, dare we say, probably friends. One time, after a deadly Russian missile hit Zelensky's hometown and killed 19 people, Macron called just to offer support. No agenda, just concern. This connection didn't come out of nowhere. Macron saw potential in Zelensky early on, back when he was still a comedian running for president. Most world leaders wouldn't have bothered, but Macron invited him to the Élysée Palace, a huge deal for someone not even in office yet. That visit helped Zelensky gain credibility back home. And after a surprise landslide win in 2019, his first official trip as president, Paris, of course. Turns out, Macron saw himself in Zelensky. Both were 41, born just a month apart, and both were political underdogs no one saw coming. As former French Minister Nathalie Loiseau put it, Macron liked the story of Zelensky at the unexpected president, all because Macron was the unexpected president too. But their journey hasn't been all smooth sailing. Back in the early days of Zelensky's presidency, Macron was still working hard to find a peaceful solution with Putin. He even visited Moscow in early 2022, hoping to stop the full-scale invasion. When that failed and the bombs began falling, Macron continued to speak with Putin, trying to keep diplomatic doors open.
So I think, Emmanuel, it's very important to you to speak with Putin and very important to make anti-war coalition.
Then Macron visited Kiev just 4 months into the war. Standing shoulder to shoulder with Zelensky, he sent a clear message of European unity.
We would like to express the brotherhood that unites us.
By May 2023, Macron publicly admitted he hadn't listened enough to Eastern European countries warning about Russia. He called for stronger security guarantees for Ukraine, and just like that, his stance took a sharp turn. From then on, the bond between him and Zelensky only grew stronger.
Nous avons enfin évoqué ensemble notre volonté de confirmer par les actes, au-delà des mots, que l'Ukraine fait partie de la famille européenne.
What Macron really brings to the table is influence. He's the one who can get through to leaders others can't, including Donald Trump.
Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
After that disastrous meeting between Trump and Zelensky at the White House earlier this year, it was Macron who quietly stepped in, got them talking again, and helped ease the tension. In fact, Macron's become something of a translator, not just with words, but when it comes to culture and politics too. He knows how to speak Trump's language and uses that to help Zelensky make his case. It's not just about support, it's about making sure Ukraine gets heard by the people who matter. And Macron's not the only one. Let's take a look at what other politicians are standing with Zelensky. Next on the list, Justin Trudeau. This one's practically a political bromance.
I stand with Volodymyr Zelenskyi.
Their connection started in 2019 when Zelensky visited Canada. At a gala, Trudeau cracked a joke about their similar paths from teaching to politics. Zelensky playing a teacher-turned-president on TV, and Trudeau being an actual classroom teacher before entering politics. I think we can both say the classroom brought us here today, he reflected. Since then, the two have grown into close allies, frequently calling each other dear friend.
And the world can find no better inspiration than our friend here with us in our house today, President Volodymyr Zelenskyi, and his wife, the First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenskyi.
And Trudeau doesn't just talk the talk, He's made 4 annual visits to Ukraine since the full-scale invasion, showing up consistently to stand by the country.
Ukraine is not just defending its own territory, it's defending the very principles and values that underpin all of our democracies.
And of course, Joe Biden. When Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, Biden was one of the first to call Zelensky, promising full U.S. support.
The United States and our allies and partners will support the Ukrainian people.
The two leaders formed a close bond, which became even clearer when Biden made that surprise visit to Ukraine in 2023, walking side by side with Zelensky as air raid sirens blared in the background. Now that's real support. Biden called Zelensky a remarkable figure, and the Ukrainian president returned the praise, saying, "Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship." You can tell there's real respect between these two.
No nation can be truly secure in the world if, in fact, we don't stand up and defend the freedom of Ukraine.
Kamala Harris also played a key role behind the scenes.
I want to thank you for all that you have done and all that you are as a leader.
Right before the invasion, she reportedly warned Zelensky of imminent danger during a private conversation in Munich.
I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, and I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself.
And once she launched her 2024 presidential campaign, Ukraine became a major focus. She didn't mince words, saying, "Ukraine's fight matters to the people of America."
I've been proud to stand with Ukraine. I will continue to stand with Ukraine.
Now let's shift to royalty. King Charles III has also met with Ukraine's President Zelensky, several times in fact, most recently at Sandringham after a summit on ending the war in Ukraine. Zelensky expressed his gratitude, saying, "I'm very grateful for this meeting and for how His Majesty helps Ukraine and supports us." He also mentioned how the king had met Ukrainian soldiers training in the UK, adding, "We're very thankful to the royal family for their support."
We are in solidarity with all those who are resisting brutal aggression.
Following the king's example, every recent prime minister, Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, and Keir Starmer, has firmly stood with Ukraine.
You have a remarkable president, Mr. Zelensky, who's done an outstanding job.
Each of them has visited the country after the full-scale invasion, showing their support in a meaningful way.
As you heard from the cheers on the street outside, you have full backing across the United Kingdom.